Alright, so today what we're working on is putting the sheet metal in the floor of the car. Now we're going to be working the area in the passenger floorboard. So doing this, we're going to be taking and making different pieces. I'm going to use a rivet gun, I'm riveting them together. That's the style I'm looking for. Lots of rivets, some bead rolling, a few other things done to it to really make it look cool. So that's what we're going to be working on. Okay, well, I've been working on the sheet metal in the car. I made the next panel. I've got it all laid out, template done, cut out. Now I'm going to try this new tool I bought. Okay, this is a bead roller, a manual bead roller from Wayward Fab. I picked this up at the show, 150 bucks at the show. I think they're normally about 170. Now what I'm trying to do is, where the two sheets come together on each piece, one will overlap the other and give it a nice clean look. Never done this before. It just took me about a half hour on the internet to figure out the right way to set up the dies, which I'm still not sure I got. So we're going to go ahead and risk this piece of metal. I've done a couple test pieces, they seem okay. We're going to risk this piece and see how it turns out. Alright, so hopefully you guys can see this. You can see the step I put in this. So if there's another sheet, it's going to lay up like so on the sheet and gives it a nice seam. That's what I'm trying to do here. Alright, well, I've got this piece that we made on the last video. I've bent it a little more, make it fit better. And now I've made the second piece, the next one to it. Now of course I can't leave well enough alone, and I want to add some design to it with this bead roller. So either one or two things are going to happen. It's going to come out great, or I'm going to fuck it up pretty bad. So anyway, let's see what happens. Alright guys, well, it actually turned out not that bad. So, just give it a nice reinforced shape on it, just follows the edges of the panel, and just help strengthen it up. This thing is rigid now. So now I'll put it in the car, see how it fits, and fit the other panel to it. Alright, so we're at the point now where the two panels made, and I want to bond the two panels together. Now I'm going to do a lot of rivets in this body of this car for the look that I want. And so instead of spot welding or seaming or whatever, I'm actually going to go ahead and rivet the panels together. So now in order to do this, I bought this tool from Eastwood. We're going to see how it works. It is an actual hand punch. Okay. Now this punch is supposed to be so that I can, instead of drilling and twisting up all the metal, I can just pop holes in it. So we're going to see right now how it works. See if it's worth the money. It's only 40 bucks, but still. Alright, looks like I got the right Allen. Now let's figure out the right hole for these rivets. I'm using an aluminum 1/8 inch 0.02 to 0.125 large flange rivets. I picked these up at our bolt wholesaler that we use at work, so I swung by and picked some up. So now I got to figure out what on earth I have to do. That was pretty fucking easy, actually. Check my rivet. Seems good to me. Alright, let's give this thing a shot. Now it has a depth deal here that I can set for how far I want the hole. So, let's see, at full depth. Looks about a ½ inch. On a tape measure, I can tell you, ah shit, we'll use a ruler. It's just under a half. 3/8. So, alright, we'll work with 3/8, that's fine. So, now, you know that this panel here, we're not going to be able to rivet the front of it because the front is going to have a cover piece that comes over it, and so at that point we want to be able to put that on. So what we're going to mainly work on is this seam here, okay, which is this seam. So the seam between the two. So we're going to go ahead and punch holes in this, mark it onto that one, and punch them on that one. So far I've taken and built all these different panels for the front and the side of the pasture floorboard. And what I've got to do is I've got to complete all the way around it so that when the floor piece goes in, it caps off all the pieces and it looks clean. Now, the problem is over on the side here, up in there, it needs more structure because I don't have anything to mount the panels to. So that's what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull these pieces out, frame up in there a little better so I can actually fit these pieces in, and then we'll make the pieces and put it all in. Once that's done, we can actually put a floor piece on it, and then the pasture floorboard will be done. Well, the one thing to remember, if it doesn't fit, make another one. It's the only way your work's gonna look good. It either fits or doesn't. So, just gotta sometimes bite the bullet and do it again. Okay, now before we finish up for the night, I want to go through some of the hand tools I use. Now the reason is I just want to explain to everybody so they understand why I use so many different hand tools and what they're for, okay? So first off, let's see. Now everybody's seen these red, green, and yellow snips. Now they're actually each have a different function. Your yellows are for cutting straight lines. See? Alright. Your greens are for cutting right-hand curves. The way they're designed is so it easily will cut to the right. Okay? Your reds are for cutting left-hand curves. So when you cut, it's naturally going to want to go left. Okay? Nice and simple. You can buy these in a 3-pack. They're inexpensive. I suggest buying the whisk ones. They are better quality. They will last you longer. I've bought the Harbor Freight ones and I've broken the teeth off them before. I still have some. Don't get me wrong. They're still working. But my whisk ones have lasted me a lot longer. Now, next is this guy. Now these orange ones are made to make long straight cuts. So these are great if you're cutting a whole panel off. So if you're cutting that panel, you can go straight down through it and keep it nice and straight. That's all. So the orange handle ones are a great set to have in your toolbox. If you're having to cut a big sheet, it helps you keep it straight and it's a lot faster. Next of all, we're going to talk about these gray seamers. What I do is, like if I want to make a bend here, I can take it, put a nice clean fold on it. So that's what these are great for. You'll see me use these correcting bends, tweaking bends, things like that. So they're another great tool to have in your toolbox because you're always going to be adjusting some of the panels, or if you drop it and bend the edge, things like that, you can straighten it back out with those. Okay, next we're going to talk about the hand punch tool that I bought from Eastwood. Now this thing at first, I was a little iffy on it. The trick is I figured out the best way to use it. There is this fat tab on the bottom. So what I did is I put that in the vise and that kept my hands free to handle my material and be able to work the punch. You can use it handheld and do it, and it works rather nice. Nice clean hole, not like when a drill bit tears up the metal. It's going to give you a nice clean punch. This guy comes with I think 6 different dies. It's around 40 bucks. I have to say that I'm glad I bought it. It works really well, especially when you're doing as many rivets as me. it comes in handy. I can mount it, sit there and punch the freaking sheet, knock out a bunch of holes at once, and they're already measured out, put them on, put them in there and drill them, I'm done. So this tool, definitely a plus. Next of all, rivet guns, okay? We are doing your normal job, a pair of rivet, a rivet gun like this will work totally fine. Now, when you're doing, I think I put 150 rivets in already, your hands are going to get worn out. This guy, Harbor Freight once again, I think they're around, I had a coupon, 20 bucks, Pneumatic rivet gun. Now, it's not the nicest thing in the world, but it gets the job done. For light work like this, it's awesome. Okay. Now, the last thing of hand tools that I really use when I'm doing this is my hammer and dolly set. Now, these are from Harbor Freight too. I bought them years ago. I probably bought them 10 years ago. I still have them. They're great for when you're massaging metal. They're actually made for doing body work on cars, but they're great for adjustments. They come in a variety of hammers and different dollies. This is not an expensive set. This guy here will cost you about 30 bucks. And the great thing, I use this hammer a lot. Nice square head, nice smooth, doesn't leave any ridges in the metal when I hit it. It works rather well. It's a tool that I always break up from time to time. Now, if I put a dent in this, okay, so now you got a dent in that piece. Take a dolly, put it on the back, and now that dent's smooth. The hammer and dolly set's definitely a great tool to have in your garage. You don't need to buy an expensive one, guys. It's a piece of metal and a hammer. I mean, as long as you're not trying to bang out 1/4 inch with it, you're going to be fine. So, all in all, that's the hand tools that I use. Next video, we'll go over some of the other tools I bought, the bead roller, shear, things like that. So each one of these videos, I'll throw some of this in there, tell you guys what I think, and we'll go from there. So anyway, guys, do me a favor. If you like this video, like and subscribe. And if you want to see other videos I've done, there should be a link over here. So, you guys have a great night, and I appreciate you watching.